Oh, does that sound better? All I'm hearing is my own voice, but here we go. Smaller me, larger chat. Showing up, please, for the love of all that is good and holy. Let me make sure I'm on the right thing. Wednesday, September 3rd, 8 p.m. YouTube Live. I'm here. Yay, good stuff. Good stuff. I need to change this. Hey, Judy Dukes and Leslie, nice to see you. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. I have my earbuds in just in case, I don't know, microphones and stuff like that. I'm kind of out of practice doing the YouTube lives considering I screwed up this week. Okay, all good. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. And thank you for getting back to me about the pen pal club. I love that. I'm telling you, you know what? It's such a silly thing, or not a silly thing, excuse me, such a simple thing. The people who speak up, the people who say, hey, here's what I want, tend to be the ones who get it. So yay, Barbara, nice to see you, and Cheryl with an S. Good stuff. And Therapy Gal Sue, nice to see everybody. Very cool. Now I'm going to say this right away, and I'm probably going to repeat it. And Christine from the other side of the country. Yay. What am I going to do? I'm going to bop up. Let me make this a bigger font because my eyes it's been a long day. There we go. Even better. Smaller me, larger comments. Love it. I'm going to say this a couple of times, if only to use the repetition for my own voice. Tomorrow, Thursday, September 4th, 8 a.m. YouTube in the morning. I typically have done in the past TikTok into YouTube, and I don't know why I decided to flip it, but I'm going to do that. Narelle, nice to see you. Talk about being from the other side, never mind of the country, but the globe. I've got a globe around here somewhere. Nice to see you. And Becky. Good people of TikTok and YouTube, the destination declutterers. I obviously didn't think I was going to be forming a crew when I called it Destination Decluttered, because that doesn't sound like the Savannah Bananas or something, does it? But good stuff, people. It's funny. I just wolfed down some dinner. My husband is going on tour. We leave tomorrow, like pretty much very shortly after I finish the 9 a.m. TikTok live tomorrow. We will depart from some friends, some family, some fun, and then coming home. And then, man, is it going to be kind of wacky around here? He's going on tour. So we had kind of our last dinner on the patio. Wow. It's so much darker at 8 o'clock than it was all summer. I was very brave. I did not have socks on. I just went out there barefooted, and the patio lights were on, and we had some of the last corn on the cob. We had it a couple of days ago, and then we made corn salad, which is just corn with tomatoes. And it was lovely, but it was just kind of bittersweet knowing that one season is changing and the other one is here. Yay. Yay, Narelle, having coffee out on a beautiful spring morning. I love that your season is different from ours. We are going from the summer into the autumn. Some cleaning, sorting, and tidying to do later. Yay, thank you for bringing us along with it. Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. Barbara says, I thought of your husband during Arts, Beats, and Eats. Now, I'm not familiar with that, but it sounds cool. One of the things I was doing prior to that, I will say, is I was looking at the map of where all these places, one of the bands he's going to be, and deciding if and where I wanted to, kind of groupie tag along. I wouldn't technically be tagging along. I'd fly over there myself. But all sorts of plans for the future. Good stuff for the future. And it was funny. I was looking at like a map of Spain and a map of Italy and then a map of Germany. And then I look up and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going to Massachusetts tomorrow. I'm going to be in Connecticut for lunch. Like I have to kind of, draw myself back in. Good morning, or excuse me, good evening, McDougs. So I hope it's going well for you guys. As you know, I'm here to help you. If you want to share any wins, if you want to share any struggles, how do you want to end up your day? Do you want to take some notes? Do you want to just sit back and listen to me kind of yammer on about whatever? You can give me a topic, pretty much any topic. Pick a card, any card. But what would you like tonight to be like? What would be beneficial for you? Now, I know myself. I just enjoy hanging out with you guys. And it makes me feel good to know that what I'm doing is of benefit to you. So whatever you say you want tonight to be, or this morning in the case of Narelle, um, pop it in the comments. Maybe you haven't even thought of it, but as I said earlier, the people who take a moment and say, what would work for me, and then share it with somebody are incrementally more likely to get that. All right, Cheryl's just going to listen and enjoy. Okay, so maybe when you listen and enjoy, maybe you are puttering and decluttering. Maybe you're just sitting down. Maybe you've gotten into some comfy clothes. I will confide in you. I'm very proud of myself at the fact that I am not in my pajamas yet. I have to take these clothes off, throw them in the washing machine because I need to pack for tomorrow. But comfortable clothes. It's the time for comfortable clothes. Maybe drink some water. I've been pretty good at that. I will say, as far as my own habit tracker, these last couple of days have been kind of busy and kind of tired. So I have, even as the person who invented the habit tracker, I have potholes. I've got a number of potholes in there, and I've got a whole bunch of days where I'll do my best, but I'm going to be, off the grid. I'm going to do the best. So it's okay if you have some potholes. That's what I'm teaching myself. You know, the good news about having corn and chicken for dinner is I will really want to be flossing my teeth tonight versus feeling like I have to. So that's a thing I can look forward to. And then tomorrow, before we leave, I'll try to do as many things as I can. I don't even remember if I took a walk this morning. I believe I did. But, it's been a busy day. Yay. Yay. Barbara was enjoying a band tribute to David Bowie. Oh, cool. David Bowie lead singer was good, but drummer and guitars were amazing. Oh, interesting. Turned out the drummer had played for the Doors. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. My husband played on a cruise last week with a bunch of bands, and we saw some really good musicians last week. That was kind of fun. So I love that. Leslie, I'm jealous. I'm already in my PJs already and straightening up so things look good in the morning. I love that. Becky is looking forward to start the switching from the summer to the fall wardrobe and move items along that I haven't worn. Yeah. Yeah. So I love it. Barbara's taking a break. Take a break if you've been working hard. Take a break. And Sue says, had a family loss overnight. Allowing myself this hour to catch up on a few tasks to keep on track a bit. Yeah, life is going to get in the way. Life is going to happen. Let life happen and don't beat yourself up. I've been pretty tired this week. I will confide in you. And so I've allowed myself to take it easy because I have done a lot of kind of socializing and having even just people. God willing, the basement will be done next week. Man, is there going to be a celebration. But having people in the house other than my husband can kind of drain my social battery, of which I need to kind of replenish. So I look forward to hanging out with you guys because this is fun. This is not draining. This is rejuvenating. But I know how that is like. So yeah. So what could we talk about? What could we talk about? You know? Yeah. Uh, and thank you for, yes, saying, I'm sorry for your loss. I am as well. Um, any of you who are a part of the Pen Pal Club, I am honing in on a day that I think is going to work. If you want to get together on a Zoom call so we can actually interact and meet people, and I don't know what it's going to be like, but I think that's going to be fun. And I am trying to get better at not feeling so glum at this time of year. So, Becky Ridgway, when you said looking forward to starting switching from summer to fall wardrobe, I'm probably going to start that next week when we get back. I know already that I'm definitely going to be in the closed-toed shoe season, and my flip-flop days are numbered. Yeah, and Sue, therapy gal Sue, if there's anything we can do to help you, If you're catching up on a few tasks, sometimes just, you know, putting the loss aside and using a different part of your brain from something can give your grieving brain a rest. Sweater weather. Yes, Becky Ridgway, sweater weather. Now, I tend to not wear a lot of sweaters. I am more of a fleece kind of hoodie person, mainly because sometimes sweaters make me itch. I like a cashmere sweater, but I don't have a lot of them. Funny thing is I had some and then I grew out of them, so I gave them away. They were kind of getting a little bit moth eaten anyway, and now I've lost weight and I kind of wish I had them, but what are you going to do? See, it's going to happen to all of us. My husband, unfortunately, is allergic to wool. So I say, if I want to be hugged by my husband in the winter, I better not be wearing wool sweaters. And that's okay. I don't like a scratchy wool sweater myself. Some people look great in them. I like cashmere, but I also like that. So yes, seeing that'll be an interesting thing. Sweater weather, the changing of the guard as far as clothing. I put some clothing away, as maybe you did last spring. That was my winter, my cold weather clothes, my long sleeve black t-shirts. It'll be interesting to see how they look when I open up those totes. I don't know if this happens to you when you put away clothes for a season. Sometimes when you open up that tote, you realize, and I'm just speaking for myself, how ratty your clothes look, like especially because I wear a lot of black clothes, how faded, how shrunken, how stretched out they look, how not good. And you think to yourself, wait a minute, I was seen in public wearing that last year. Sometimes that fresh eyes can be a new perspective. Um, Even trying on those clothes, as I said, like I've lost a couple of pounds, and so I'll be curious to see what I put away, if anything feels markedly different. I kind of hope not. I hope, if anything, things feel obviously more comfortable. I don't want things to be less comfortable. But for the most part, I like my clothing selection is pretty simple. You know. Um, Yay. Barbara says, yesterday I had a student overwhelmed and told him to chunk it down. Chunking may be my favorite destination decluttered strategy. I love that. And I love that you're spreading the word. I wish I had known as a student about chunking it down and getting started kind of sooner, getting started small instead of sooner rather than later, and chunking it down. I really wish I had learned that. Um, I didn't learn that. I grew up with people who waited till the last minute and scrambled and freaked out and stuff like that. So that's what I learned how to do stuff. Um, so yay for you teaching that. I was chunking down something the other day, even now, like I was getting overwhelmed. I'll share this with you. I'm the one who tells everybody how to not get overwhelmed, but I've been getting overwhelmed by one of my kind of goals of this year, and I have it written down. That's my USA travel. Spend my points this year. I have that. Become a better, more comfortable international traveler. And what I realized is I was getting overwhelmed by, like, I want to travel to, and it's like insert country here. Chunking down and deciding where in a certain country you want to go to. Chunking it down and saying, what's, different things like that. And it really made it feel more accessible, and getting a better handle on things when you can picture where those chunks are, like what city is near what city and how can I get from A to B, and doing some research. So yay for you helping people with the overwhelm. Now, don't forget too. Now, I know this may not be appropriate for, teaching kids, but all of us always make sure that you're feeling good, okay, physically. Like if somebody's hyperventilating, obviously you want to slow them down. Not that your kid was, but making sure that your physical body is feeling all right. But then also that kind of slowing down, calming down, regulating of the nervous system, calming down thing can really help. Yeah. Oh, Barbara, I love that your mom had a little card that said the longest journey begins with a single step. Very cool. The funny thing, I got to share this with you. This may crack you up because it cracks me up. My sister and I joke about, there was a mural with like a 70s sunset on the cinder block wall where there was like a ramp down to the cafeteria in the high school that she and I both went to. And there was a mural on it with the sunset. And it was like, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And this is where I was saying to some, I was like, you know what? Sometimes people think they're saying a good thing, but that never really hit me as a good thing. Like, oh my God, today is the first day of the rest of my life. You mean the rest of my life is going to look like this? But I love to collect ideas and phrases and things that make me feel good. So that's really neat that your mom had that card and that you remember it. Not all words are going to work for all people. So yay for that. Yay will probably be a hydrating word. Better to be yay than boo, you know? This is a fun thing. You know how I often talk about um, the traffic signal in your body, and we talk about the green light, the yellow light, and the red light? I have a picture of it on my pad here. And the kind of the sound of the green light in your heart is yay, is kind of like that hooray in, interjection, show excitement and emotion. Um, and the red light is kind of like ugh. So it's more yay and less ugh. And in the middle is the yellow, which is kind of meh, eh, I don't know, kind of in between. But it's colors and it's sounds and it's feelings. Notice when there's something you're attracted to, there's a magnet. Magnets attract and magnets repel, you know? Um, when you are attracted to something, you say, ooh, and then you might lean in to get a closer look, maybe to get a closer smell, maybe a little taste. You hear something, you want to hear something that you're interested in. We heard the ice cream man today. You lean into things that you're interested in. That green light in your heart almost is like there's like a little, something that's pulling you along. On the flip side, you've got the red light, and it's like, oh no, back away. Stinky. I don't even want it. Like you're shriveling up your nose. You don't want to smell it. You're shirking away. You want to protect yourself from the yuckies. So your body is telling you. Your body will give you clues when you are doing stuff. And if you pay attention to these things and factor some of that stuff in, it can help you make a better decision. I learned, and this was a couple years ago now at this point, which is crazy, when I started helping my mother declutter her home, one of the things that we spent a lot of time with was her clothing. And one of the motivators for her was, at the time she was singing in a Sweet Adeline's chorus. And her chorus was having a clothing drive that was going to like raise money for the clothing. I can't quite remember what it was, but the motivation was to have a bunch of bags to donate. And after a while, I really honed in on that. My mother did not have to say a word of English. All I needed to do was look at her face to know if she wanted it or not. It's kind of like, eh. And it was like, oh, I like this. I don't like it. And so pay attention to the signals that your body is giving you about a lot of things. Why just take information in one channel? You can get information from all sorts of, like, your body is a lot more aware of things, you know? Um, and that can really help you make decisions you feel good about. I think that's one of the things when we talk about decision making is when people say they feel like they're going too slow, that they're not done yet. What I want to just offer is slow and fast and not there yet is such a comparison. The goal of the journey of decluttering, yes, is to get to that destination of decluttered, but to do it in a way that you enjoy it when you're doing it. And when you are decluttered, you have fewer regrets that you can look back at because you went through the process kind of, I don't want to say slowly, but at a pace that felt good to you, that you weren't making decisions when your tank was empty and, oh, I don't care, just get rid of it. And then you later regret it. And even the things that you regret, as I said, I was just remembering some sweaters I had, but I had worn those quite a bit. I had. I had pictures taken of me with those sweaters. Maybe it's time for me to splurge on a new sweater. I could sit there in regret about some things that I've given away in the past, but maybe that's given me the opportunity to upgrade. As I said, some of these sweaters had some moth holes in them. They were getting kind of pilly. So maybe it's a good thing that I did that. And actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to write down cashmere sweater, because why the heck not? I'm going to write that down as something to get. Cashmere sweater. And the funny thing is, somebody else was talking on a TikTok live today too, or this week anyway, about was Barbara, I hope you're feeling better now. That's why I'm chilling. Yeah, now I'm almost up for a 10 to 45-minute effort. Yeah, I did not feel well when I woke up this morning. I had a headache. Then, I don't know, I was lucky enough to, I have a friend who's a massage therapist, so I went for a massage, and that felt kind of like, what's that John Cougar song? Hurt so good. Like it was like, oh man, that feels good. Oh, that doesn't feel so good. But I felt not so good, and then better. And then I did take some Advil, and I feel so much better now than I did. So yeah, do the things. I'm so glad you're feeling better. 10 to 45 minutes, putter, declutter, make yourself feel good. Awesome. Somebody was saying on one of the YouTube lives or the TikTok lives, one of them lives. And in case there's any new people here, I know we've got a small core group of people, and you're like, who's this lady who's just kind of babbling on YouTube? My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Somebody was talking about the clothing they buy versus the clothing they wear. And what I've noticed is in this chapter of my life, I even thought about that. The fact that I don't wear kind of formal clothes anymore. And when I mean formal, I mean like work clothes, like a sweater. Why would I need to wear a sweater if a sweatshirt will do for most cases? You know, one fun thing is that I have a wedding to go to in a couple of months, and I am using that as an opportunity to go dress shopping. And the fun thing is about that is we just got clarification from my cousin's wife, who's the mother of the bride, and she was saying it was like a formal wedding. And I read that formal meant long dresses, but she said, no, you can wear a cocktail dress. And so I'm like, ooh, because I don't want to invest money in a dress that I just wear once. But how fun will it be to use the excuse of a wedding to buy a dress that's fun and that I could also look forward to somehow wearing again? And even, my goodness, I just thought of this. So I'm glad I'm talking to you guys. Got to buy shoes too. I can't remember the last time I wore high heels or even any kind of heel that wasn't a chunky Dansko sandal. A closed-toed heeled shoe. That'll be interesting. I'm going to write that one down too. Shoes for wedding. I've decluttered them because I have changed. I'm in a different chapter of my life. I'm actually, you know what I just realized too? Shoes for wedding, and I'm going to say boots because I'd be more likely to wear some boots. Could be a thing. So, what chapter are you in? What chapter are you in? Can you look back at your life and see the different chapters? I can do that when I'm looking over here. It was really interesting when I have started to go through my boxes of sentimental clutter and realizing that there are many ways to carve things up. For example, chunk it down. Well, a chunk could be family stuff. A chunk could be like I was doing them strictly by year, but the crazy thing is some years are split. I have stuff that was from 1984, and half of that year was me being in high school, and half of it was a whole new chapter of me being in college. The same year has two different me's in it, high school me and college me. Then there's like married me and then divorced me. and then there's Massachusetts me, and then Delaware me, and then Pennsylvania me, And so it's really interesting how you can cut those things up, you know? Yep. And here's the thing. McDougs, I get this. I bet you anything. If I took a poll with us right here and I said, don't you wish you knew some stuff earlier than you know it now? I think we'd all raise our hands. That kind of somebody might have, if we were lucky enough to have somebody who cared in our life to try to guide us and give us those bon mots, those good words to help us. If we had listened to them, there's always that old adage, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. Sometimes you have to do things the wrong way. And I say wrong, not as judgy, but one way to realize how you prefer to do it the other. So yeah, I wish I knew sooner, but it's so good that we're knowing it now. Better now than in 10 years. Better now than next year. Better now than next week or next month. Isn't it great, all the stuff you know now? And while we can always learn, I think it's really important to also implement the knowledge that you already have learned. Now, I say this as a person who's taken a number of workshops and certification programs for my coaching, and I just signed up for another one because the people who did my coaching certification have one that I think is interesting. Have I truly wrung all of the knowledge out of what I've already done? No, but I bet a bunch of it is going to be a lot of repeat. Yeah. And now being grateful for what we know, like getting it, like that wisdom. I think there's a difference. I don't know about you, but I feel like really what I all of the years of learning that I have now and putting it into practice and really figuring out, it feels like wisdom, not just learning. Like I feel wise, not just smart, but I feel wise. And I love to share that wisdom. And on the hopes that, somebody will remember something I said and that it will help them. Yeah. And I hope, Leslie, you're right. We will always be learning and evolving. I hope so. I really hope so because I think it is so sad when people stop evolving, when they stop at a certain point and they say, no more, I'm going to stick to the way I am right now. I'm not going to entertain any new ideas. I'm not going to be open and flexible. I am going to stop and kind of dig my heels in. And to me, that is so unfortunate because things change all the time. I don't want to be one of those old people. I mean, I am to a certain extent with certain things, but man, my learning curve is going to be great. I tend to rely on my husband for certain things because he's there and he's more patient about certain things. When he's away, I will have to be doing more of these things that I don't necessarily have expertise in, but I'll figure it out. So I think it's good to keep your brain flexible and growing because that's how you stay young. And trust me, I don't mean young physically, but knowing the wisdom of, moving your body, not making excuses, but saying, yeah, at this age, I need to, if I want to be walking up the steps of the Acropolis and walking all those stairs in those Greek towns, I better get my body in strength shape so I can do the things I want to do. I can't rely on the strength of youth that I don't have anymore. So I will need to, if that's a destination I want, I will need to devote more of my time and energy into strengthening my body and keeping it strong, unlike any other time in my life. But I will share with you that, again, going back to this cruise we went on, there were the biggest percentage of the people on the cruise were older than us. And I mean by decades at this point. And it was really interesting to see the variety of people who could take the stairs or had to take the elevator. People who were out jogging on the track or being in the gym, and people who were in wheelchairs or had walkers or had a cane or crutches or a boot, all of those things. So, thinking about what chapter of your life you're in now, and yeah, kind of flipping back in the book and seeing what else you did, but also kind of planning ahead with this wisdom and knowledge to say, what can I do now to ensure that the chapters ahead of me are more like I want it? Decluttering is a big one. Keeping care of your body is a big one. If there's something else you think of, put it in the comments. You know, um, it's really an interesting place to be. It is because none of us know when we're going to go. If we knew, we would probably, do different stuff. But the mystery of it should remind us that to get on and do the good stuff, doing the good stuff. So, like tomorrow, for example, tomorrow when I am on a trip, and I remembered I was working with a one on one client this week, and she had her list of things to do and all this stuff, and she's going to do it. And I said, do you have any fun? Do you have any fun on that list? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, well, you told me that you're going from point A to point B at a certain point. Funny thing, I think she may be on the road tomorrow. I said, where are you going to stop for lunch? You probably need to stop and take a break, much like a road trip. Any real road trip, you're going to have to stop and pee, and perhaps you're going to get hungry. Could you turn where you're stopping for lunch into an event, into something fun? Not just pulling over at the McDonald's and getting a burger, but is there something around there? And I gave her a couple of ideas, and all of a sudden she was like, "Ooh, I look forward to that." How can you make what you like, what you have to do, into more of something you want to do? I do that all the time. Even what did I do today? Nah, I didn't really actually. I drove to get some dry cleaning and I drove back, but I was glad I did it. But like tomorrow, I've already picked out where we're going to stop for lunch. The next day, we have some friends we're going to see because it's some family we're going to see. We've got a little road tripping going on, and going to take a walk. So incorporate some fun into things. If you are tidying up for tomorrow, what's on your list? What could you jot down for Thursday? What's it going to be? Thursday, September 4th? What fun could you have? Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Chunking it down. All righty. So McDoug's was speaking to chunking it down. Yeah. And that's just like, and I'm just seeing if I missed anything here as I scroll, because sometimes I get on a roll. Um, yeah, the chunking it down. That is one of those bits of wisdom, but we're not told that. We're learning from people who didn't really learn, and everybody's making stuff up as they go along. But when you find something that works, and maybe we were taught it at a certain point, but it fell on deaf ears. You ever hear that saying? It fell on deaf ears because it wasn't supported by, the practice. Like people say, do as I say, not as I do. It can be really interesting. But isn't it cool that you know how to chunk it down now? I love it. It really helps me to get stuff feeling less overwhelmed, to get myself started. I find myself doing it all the time. Even today, I, took off my hoodie and I put it down, and a couple minutes later I said, "You know what? I'm just going to do this little bit and hang it up. I'm going to, do one load of laundry as opposed, two smaller loads of laundry as opposed to one big one." Um, it really does crop up all the way, all over the place. It does. It does. But that's what I think. I don't know. I don't know. Anybody got any fun plans for the weekend? Even just looking ahead. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Got any good stuff planned? Oh, hey, Kara finished her wall. Yay. Yay. Talk about chunking it down and getting a timer, chunks of time. I love that. And I'm getting a massage tower. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds awesome. I'm all about the massages. And that's great. Great. Oh, getting a massage tomorrow. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I always blame AI for those words that don't come out right. What a great thing. I highly recommend treating yourself to a massage. Your physical body could benefit from it because there's some places like your back that you just can't get. And even if you could, you can't get right in there. I was told I have some, like, I'm very tender in, she was telling me the something scapula, something, something. And I was like, oh, yeah, because she was poking at it. And I was like, that feels good. What can you do tomorrow to make your physical body feel good? Even just doing some stretching. Even just doing some stretching. Even right now, we could all do some stretching. Gonna do that right now. I feel like I'm doing, what's that thing they do? The lawn sprinkler dance. Oh, there we go. Yay. And notice how you can expand your capacity for treating yourself nicely. Oh, I see. Barbara says, oops, invent a massage tower and get rich. Yeah, that could be a thing. That could be a thing. So notice para too. Expanding your capacity for treating yourself good, right? Instead of just getting an hour-long massage, you picked the 1.5 hour one. So you stretched it out because I'm worth it. What was that? Well, that was a thing for because I'm worth it. I know somebody used that as a tagline. It wasn't like Charlie Perfume or something like that. If somebody knows what that is, pop it in the comments. Because I'm worth it. Was that Rula Lenska with her VO5 hairspray? I can't remember. I could Google it, but I'm just curious if anybody knows it. But yeah, if you've never had a massage before, expand your capacity for enjoying things and experiment with it. It can be a little bit awkward at first. I will show you. Breck shampoo, is that it, Ruth Barry? Thank you. L'Oreal says, Leslie, so we're thinking it's shampoo. Could be. You know what? I'm going to do this old-timey thing where I won't immediately go and Google it. But before we sign off in about 22 minutes or so, I will Google it to see what it is. So I'm going to do this old-fashioned thing called not know something, to wonder. Okay, L'Oreal hair color. Okay, because I'm worth it. And isn't it funny? It's a box hair color. I used to box hair color my hair all the time. Too funny. Until it grew out and I said, I like this color. But treat yourself nicely. Treat yourself nicely. Do something you've never done before, but you've always been kind of curious about. I got a facial when we were in Chicago. The hotel we were staying at, don't ask me what, there was some sort of promotion going on with some esthetician moisturizer maker guy or something. And I was able to sign up for a complimentary facial. I had never had one in my life, but it was on my list of things that I was curious about. Having somebody mushing around my face. That was so funny. The woman said, relax. And I said, I thought I was relaxed. Treat yourself well. Yay. There we go. McDoug's. I love that. I plan that way too. If I have a doctor's appointment, I take myself out to lunch or go with a friend. Last week I had labs done, sushi next door to the building. Yeah, building good habits. There you go. I do that too. Actually, funny you mention it. I have a doctor's appointment next week and I have to figure out, and actually that's going to be a good thing. You guys are reminding me of some good stuff and I'm writing that stuff down. Monday, find paperwork for labs. I'm going to highlight it too, because that's important, because I also need to find out when I have to fast. I have already made a plan because I was looking at a map that I made, because I make maps all the time. And there's a map of my area with a Greek restaurant that I have wanted to try for the longest time. And I know it's just like gyros and, spanakopita, but like the standard stuff. It's nothing fancy, but I drive past it all the time and I've never stopped. So next week, knowing that my husband's not going to be around because he's not as big a fan of the Mediterranean type food as I am, is I'm going to treat myself to lunch when I go to the doctor's office. And I'm going to go there and it's going to be kind of a, kind of checking it off the list, doing something that's been on my map for the longest time. Um, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Sometimes I stop at a bakery and get myself a really good cookie, but I'm going to mix it up. Yeah. So where can you treat yourself nicely? And I know when you've heard me talk, and it's so true, a lot of my treating myself nicely does revolve around food. It does. But I've gotten better at it. I think, Leslie, was it you and I were talking on one of the lives talking about doing different things instead of collecting, instead of thrifting, instead of shopping and kind of acquiring items and going out to acquire items? What can you do instead of that so you don't remain cluttered? And what are some other things that you can do to treat yourself that doesn't necessarily revolve around food? I love taking myself for a walk. I love going and exploring and just, if I'm out in nature or if I'm walking, in a neighborhood I haven't been or a city, I love exploring. That gets my body out in the air and nature, and I really like that. Yeah. Leslie mentioned Googling for parks in the area. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I will offer this. There is an app called, gotta remember what it's called. I remember my husband and I used this, especially during COVID, because we were desperate to get out of the house and walk around, and we needed to find some things. Oh, here it is. It's called All Trails, and we've actually used that. I've used that when I've traveled to see if there's a place around where we're staying that we could go for a walk. Another fun thing was, and I think was when we were driving back from Massachusetts to Pennsylvania, and we were going through Connecticut. And if anybody's ever gone through Connecticut on 95, where you're all pretty much going from east to west for a while, even though technically it's north and south, but there's this big long stretch, or even on the 15, where you're driving west, but you're heading into the sunshine, and the sun was just in our eyes, and it was very unpleasant, and there was traffic. I looked up on my app, and the All Trails app had a place where we could get out and walk around, and we walked around a lake. We got out of the car, out of the traffic, out of the sunlight. We went and stretched our bodies, got some fresh air, saw something new. And then when we got back into the car, the sun had set more, so it wasn't piercing our eyes. The traffic may have still been there, but the traffic was more manageable when the sun wasn't in our eyes, and we moved around. So feel free, if you're an app type person, it might behoove you to check out All Trails. There's a free version. I'd only use the free version. That's another fun thing with apps too. I have one, and it's from Cornell Labs, and you can use it to help you discover, yeah, the Cornell Lab Merlin. It helps you discover what the sound of those birds are. Like when you hear a bird chirping, you can do it and it tells you what it is. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. And McDoug says a massage is a brilliant idea. It connects your body and mind and soul back together. Yeah. I really enjoy it because it makes you pay attention to your body in a way that you typically don't, or at least I don't. I can't speak for yourself. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. Yay. Judy Duke's got the Merlin app. Yes, and stretching is good before bed as well. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some stretches before I go to bed, and that's going to be sooner rather than later. But yes, and yes, notice that sometimes your body will end up screaming. That was something funny that I was saying to my massage therapist friend, because I tend to get, and I'm pretty sure I have some sort of thing. I'm going to get it checked out at the doctor next week too. There is a place in my body where the pain often flares up. It's like not necessarily an old familiar friend. It's like a pain in the ass who you think will never come back. Next thing you know, just when you're feeling good, it knocks on your door and you're like, oh, it's back to you. But I was really surprised that when she was massaging me, how there was a tender spot on the other side. And I said, this is wild because I'm focusing so much on the place that hurts that I've kind of ignored the other places. But your whole body needs some loving. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Aw. Yeah. Oh, Lady Bandit, nice to see you. I get massages to relieve stress and it works wonders. Yes. I said to my husband today, now that I feel better from it, I said, I almost feel like, I've had like a relaxing cocktail or something. I just feel nice and mellow. So I highly recommend that. Get a massage, get a foot massage, maybe a pedicure, you know, treat yourself nicely. Your body is the vehicle. If you think about it, your body is like your car and your spirit, your soul, your energetic self is the driver. And if your body has flat tires, your spirit is going to just be stuck in a Barca lounger. So take good care of your physical body because it is the vehicle for things. Yeah. I love that, McDougs. Think of a massage as part of your healthcare, and you will benefit more from the massage than you will from a doctor's visit. Yeah. Oh, can you imagine if they were covered by insurance? Ah, okay. Yeah. So Judy Dukes saying, I have been experiencing restless legs and not able to sleep. My body is definitely tired for not getting restful sleep. Okay. Is there something you can do? What's in your bag of tricks? Everybody here, actually. What's in your bag of tricks to help you sleep more restfully? If you put it in the comments, it may be some things that Judy Dukes can work on. Now, I don't know if it's like restless leg syndrome, whatever. I know that I sleep better when I have like an eye mask on that gets it nice and dark. I think the skin on my eyelids is too thin, or maybe my eyelids are too lazy. Not lazy, but like they don't form a tight seal. And so I see the light and it disrupts my sleep. So I like to wear a sleep mask sometimes. Um, I also right now with this kind of weather, we have the window cracked a little bit to get some fresh air in, and we did put the blanket on the bed. So maybe putting a blanket on, taking a blanket off. What else do I do? Um, I do one thing that probably does not help my sleep, which is I do scroll on my phone in bed. I know I'm not supposed to do it, but I do. So don't beat yourself up if you do that. All right? Yeah. Now, Lady Bandit, I love that you were noticing how you're feeling. Saying, I was going to work tonight, but I'm too tired. I know I will be more productive tomorrow. Well, I will be more productive tomorrow as well. I tend to be an early bird. So I will be up. And as I said, I'm going to remind myself tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, is going to be on YouTube. Okay. I actually wrote it down separately. I'm going to stick this on my forehead as opposed to TikTok. Okay. Cheryl says gabapentin for restless leg and neuropathy, magnesium glycinate. Oh, all sorts of fancy words here. Potassium or iron levels are low. Okay. Yep, magnesium. And I read my Kindle with a shut-off timer. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Narelle is saying, I became a mother 34 years ago. My youngest will be 18 and finish school in a few months. I need to discover who I am when I am now. I have no idea. Look for clues and write them down. Yeah, it won't come to you all at once. It won't. Chunk it down. Write down things. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be now? You can totally make this new chapter. You know? Ooh, soaked with Epsom salts. That sounds nice. Yay. I like to think of our lives as two different approaches to clay, what's the word? Sculpture. This takes me back to junior high school. I wish I could remember the name of the teacher, but I can totally picture her classroom, her art classroom, and thinking of two ways in which you construct a sculpture. You can, and this is what we've been doing a lot, we add things. We start with, kind of nothing, not a lot, and you add this and you add that. Kind of imagine like little balls of clay, and you add a bunch of balls of clay, and you can construct a figure that way. That's one way of doing it. But also starting with what you have now and a combination of adding and subtracting. Subtracting out what you don't want in your life and writing down these things because you do have clues. You're not totally lost. You can decide who you want to be. It doesn't come to you all at once. It can be a little clue here and a little clue there. As I said earlier, what's something you're drawn to? What's something you have no interest in? I am more drawn to an art museum than I am a football stadium. So I know that about me. So maybe I look up and see what art museums there are where I am, you know? Uh-huh. Yay. Yay. Tonic water. Leslie, I think the quinine is supposed to help with like foot cramps and stuff. I have a great uncle who swore by that. Mm-hmm. Some experiment, play. Sometimes you like things, sometimes you don't. Some things you want to do again. Sometimes you're like, I'm one and done with that. But I say always be experimenting, you know? Always be experimenting. Have a sense of play. Have a sense of lightness and not so seriously. Like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Yeah, sometimes things don't work out. Keep things light and playful and curious, and that keeps you open to opportunities, open to different things that just for whatever reason tickles your fancy, strikes your fancy. Like there's something appealing about that to me. I would like to do that. I don't know what it is about, that uh, event, but that sounds like a thing that I might be interested in. And this is a neat thing too. As we get older, now I am blessed to have the Venn diagram of friends, of so many crews of friends from different walks of my life. I am honored and I feel very lucky that I have maintained friendships, some of them 50 plus years, and anywhere from new people to 50 years and all the in-betweens. But I know that sometimes folks are not as lucky as I am. If you get curious about things you're interested in and you go to them, you are more likely to meet other people who also share similar interests. Yeah. Oh, Judy Dukes was saying, I was hoping Carla Jane would be on tonight. I hope everything went okay. I heard from her. I did. And let me share with you. Let me see what she said. Um, Where are we? She says, thank you for your well wishes, my friend. It is done and over. We signed today and it should be finalized by the end of the month. So let's all send healing vibes to Carla Jane. She must be exhausted. It's a big day for her. Yeah, I think everything went okay. Yeah. Thank you for thinking of her. I bet she felt it. I sent the email to the email club. I hope you all got that. If you're on the email club, part of the email club, and you didn't get the email that I sent out, let me know. Shoot me an email at Beth at Destination Decluttered. But that can be a big deal. So I bet she's kind of exhausted. Emotionally, it does take an emotional toll on you, you know? Um, but she'll be back. She'll be back. Oh, yay. Thank you, Judy Dukes, for sending an email to her. And thank you for letting me know that you got my email. Yay. Good. Thank you, you guys. Because I'm still kind of figuring out how that whole what do you call it? Pen Pal Club, what the best way is to work it. But you know what? Notice how I just said the best way? What we're doing right now is a good start. We're having a sense of play. We're mixing it up. We're just getting started. We're not waiting for everything to be perfect and the best way, but we're figuring it out. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that Carla Jane would be happy to know that I shared that information to you because she's a good egg. We are all good eggs. Okay. Um, yeah. So we got about 5, 6 minutes left. Anybody anybody want to share anything? Like anything good? Because think about this. 8 a.m. YouTube live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. TikTok, done at 10 o'clock. And then I'm off the digital grid for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Is that all? Feels like a lot more. We've got a lot of things. What are some good things that you're going to do between the time that I sign off tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then I sign back on again, because I am going to sign back on. I'm just looking for the thing. Monday at 2 p.m. So between Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, of course, and Monday, September 8th at 2 p.m., take a moment right now and think of something fun that you would like to do between those two times. Write it down on a piece of paper and write it down in the comments, because sharing it with yourself is writing it down on a piece of paper. You increase the likelihood that you're going to do that thing if you write it down. And we're often always talking about like lists of things to do. How about some fun? What is one fun thing? One easily attainable, easy to do, fun thing that you would like to say to me when we meet on TikTok at 2 p.m. on Monday that you got done? Kara is taking a friend to her favorite nursery in Westport and going to lunch after. So cool. And actually, you just reminded me of something. So, and I'm going to do something here. Okay. So I was going to Google something for you because I thought that would be, Because I'm Worth It was for L'Oreal. You're right. Okay. Because I'm Worth It. All righty. How L'Oreal's logo was called. So there's a thing. Preference by L'Oreal. So let me see if I can get my maps up here, because I think I'm a map person. But anything else? I've got so much fun planned this week. It's comical. I can plan fun like nobody's business. Nope, it's not that. Where is that place? I see where Westport is. Oh, damn it. What is the name of that? It was a really cool, not Tiverton. The Commons. I'll have to share it with you, but there's a really cool place in Rhode Island that I had a wonderful kind of bougie little lunch, and they have a farmer's market type thing. Not farmer's market. I wish I could remember the name of it. Maybe it's not there at all. I know how to get in touch with you, Kara. I will do that. So I love it. Lady Bandit's going to knit or work on watercolor painting. And here's a fun thing. Play. Anytime you say you're going to work on something, this is why I always crack up with my husband. I say, that's why they call it playing music, not working music. Christine's going to have a game night with her girlfriends this Saturday. Cool. Notice all of these ideas can get your creative mind, your creative juices flowing. DeVol's Country Store. No, that's not it, but I will get in touch with you. I'm irked at the fact that I can't see it right here, because I think, oh wait, here it is. It's down in Tiverton. It is Tiverton. Groundswell Cafe and Bakery in Tiverton. GroundswellCafeGarden.com. Very cool place. Groundswell. Oh, hey. There you go. Judy Dukes, meeting to make a plan with a friend for a trip to Pennsylvania to a sight and sound theater to see Noah. You mean like Noah and the Ark? Oh, Carrie, you've been there. Awesome. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. If it's Noah and the Ark, I think that's out near Lancaster. Very cool. So fun stuff, people. Remember, tomorrow, 8 a.m. YouTube, some 8 p.m. YouTube, fun things to do in Lancaster. Shoe fly pie, hex signs, stuff like that there. That is near your favorite garden in Saconet, not Saconet, Saconet, right? I remember all those names of places when we used to drive down to Horseneck Beach. So 8 p.m. today we started. 8 a.m. I hope everybody here, I hope you get a good night's sleep. If you wake up early enough to hang out with me on YouTube, it's going to be interesting to see what a nice small crew will slowly wake up together, And then tomorrow, I will say tomorrow is two early ones, Christine. So you may have to see the afternoon one is going to be on Monday. Check the secret page. 9 a.m. TikTok live Eastern. So that'll be 6 for you, that's still kind of early, but if you're up early, that's cool. And then to me, it's off to New England, busy, 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 coming on back. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys. And in between those two things, make sure you have some fun. Okay? Make sure you have some fun. I'm going to go have some fun now. Old lady fun. I'm going to floss my teeth to get the corn out of them. I'm going to take off my bra, get into my pajamas, and I have a little bit left in my book that I'm excited to finish up. So take care, everyone. Always a pleasure. And I will see some of you tomorrow and have a wonderful night. Mwah. Bye.